I mean, that is so much of success is just showing up, whether it's the gym, whether it's to class, whether it's to your job. Some people just don't even show up for their job, and then they wonder what the problem is.
Welcome to Secrets of a Sugar Daddy. Here's your host, Marcus.
Welcome to another episode of Secrets of a Sugar Daddy, the #1 sugar dating podcast in the world, where we pull back the curtains on the good and the bad. And Lily,
the caffeinated.
Well, yeah, but the shocking stories of sugar dating. What are you all hopped up on caffeine there?
Yeah.
You got your coffee over there?
I'm on my second coffee drink of the day.
We did something fun yesterday. We went to a Diamondbacks game in the middle of the day. The problem is we had 4 tickets and I had an extra one and I couldn't get anybody to show up. I know it was kind of last minute. We threw it on Patreon for our locals. Nobody was able to take us up on that.
Yeah, it was crazy. Trucker got this wild hair that we should go to the game in the middle of the day, and he wanted to invite you because the Texans...
they played the Texas Rangers, which I grew up a Rangers fan.
The Rangers were playing the Diamondbacks, so he wanted to invite you, and then he gets online to get 3 tickets and discovers that 3 tickets was going to cost more than 4.
Yeah, it was kind of weird.
So he went ahead and got the 4, and I was like, well, let's throw it on there and see if anyone just happens to be free, but apparently nobody was.
Yeah. Well, we did throw that on Patreon, and we do throw perks like that occasionally on Patreon. Sometimes they're last minute. Sometimes you get a little bit more heads up. But if you're not a Patreon member, you are missing out. Go to patreon.com/secrets of a sugar daddy podcast. Now, we have a party coming up, and if you're a Patreon member, you get priority status. And we're about to get into this party because things have grown. I've got some news for Lily that she does not know yet, which I'm about to divulge.
I think I already know. I think sometimes you forget what you've told me and what you haven't.
Okay. Well, this stuff occurred just last night, and I haven't talked to you since last night.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
So anyway, we throw all kinds of fun behind-the-scenes videos, pictures, all this really good stuff. The community chat is a lot of fun. People throw scenarios like sugar dating scenarios, life scenarios, real estate scenarios, all kinds of good talk going in there, funny memes. It's a lot of fun. And we have some profile reviews and coaching available too. The tiers start at $10 a month, very, very cheap. And then we had a couple more tiers, and we have a free option. Just sign up for free. We do throw some free things on there, and I will continue to throw a few free things on there. Now, if you're a tier member, you're going to get the full site. So that's what we hope you do, and we recommend that you do, and it helps support the show. But at least become a free member. All right, let's talk about Sugar Palooza 5. Things have grown, as they always do, Lily. I told you in the beginning, this is on a Thursday night. We're just going to keep it small. We're going to keep it close. It's probably going to be at mostly locals. No. We've got a second suite. Now I have 2 suites side by side, up to 50 people.
I'm getting a migraine.
I know, it's crazy, but it's going to be so fun. It's going to be so fun. And here's the news. So since it falls in the middle of a week, I was able to get 4 really cool Airbnbs in South Scottsdale. These things are hip. They have 5-star ratings. They're really cool. Everybody will get pretty much their own room.
They're hip, sir.
They are really cool. Chic. I don't know what to call them. They're cool.
They're sexy?
They're sexy, yeah. This one host has 3 of them, and one of them was booked, but I booked the other 2. They were a little expensive compared to another couple I got, but the reviews are amazing. They have heated pools. They have jacuzzis.
Nice.
I mean, it's going to be cool. And they're all grouped kind of together.
I love that for me.
Yeah.
Because I'm the girl who has to run around putting out the snack baskets and welcome stuff.
Yeah. So we got 4 really cool Airbnbs. One of them sleeps like 6. One of them's 4. I think another one is 6. At my house, I've got a couple rooms that we're renting out for those. We already know who's taking those. And then I got another one. Anyway, and if I need to add more, I can, because fortunately it's during the middle of the week. It's not a weekend. Mm-hmm. So Get a little upgrade there, which is nice. Now, if you're a sugar daddy and you want to come to this party, I'm telling you what, you need to contact us now. We need you. The girls want you. We don't have enough of you. And you will have the time of your life, I promise. Right, Lily?
That is correct. Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
How many caffeinated beverages have you had today?
I have had 0 caffeinated beverages. On the way here, we don't have a guest today, so it's just you and me. And I'm thinking about all these things I want to address, and I'm getting fired up. So you're catching the fired up Marcus.
I can tell you're just on one.
Well, I'm excited about the party. It's coming together. I was able to get a big task off of my shoulders last night. I spent a couple hours on Airbnb because I want the right ones, I want the good.
Yeah.
I want all of our out-of-towners to come in and feel like, this is fucking cool, right? We've set a precedent. So we gotta perform, right?
Gotta live up to the hype.
Yeah. And again, I'll just tell you guys, we're spending probably $35,000 to $40,000 on this party by the time it's all set. It's a banger.
That's why we need the sugar daddy
so
sponsors.
we need the sugar daddy sponsors. The cost to become a sugar daddy sponsor is very affordable. Get in touch with us at info@secretsofasugardaddy.com. That's our email address. Or you can message us on Instagram. You can message us on Patreon. Easy to get hold of us with all the social media these days, comes right to our phone. But we would love to get you information on becoming a sponsor. Bad Brad has got his suite again. And now this is the original suite with the huge balcony.
And the pool table.
A pool table at the W. And it's going to be a lot of fun. And the weather, oh my God. I'll tell you another reason why I'm so excited. I saw the forecast for Sunday. Okay, I don't know what we're at. We're at a record 100 and... Are we at 110, 112 days of 100 degrees or better?
Something.
Straight.
It's been miserable.
We have not dipped below 100 degrees in Arizona since like May.
Yeah.
I just walk outside and just expect it to be hot. It doesn't even affect me anymore. The nice thing is the days are getting shorter, so the heat's not as long. But our forecast next week is in the 80s, which I'm telling you what, guys, after a summer of 110, 105, 115, 85 to 88, that's like Hawaii to me.
I'm ready for it.
Oh my God, it's so nice. And that's what it's going to be like in November. It's probably going to be in the high 70s, low 80s, absolutely perfect weather. The nights are going to be cool. Again, we've got the heated pools if you want to take a dip. We've got the hot tubs at all these Airbnbs. It's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah. So
it shall.
We get excited, and football season's here, and I'm telling you what, it's a fun time of year. They're putting up all the Halloween stuff, the spooky stuff.
Oh my goodness, yes.
I've already driven by houses. They're all decked out for Halloween.
I keep seeing Dr. Charles posting all of
Dr.
his
Charles.
new amazing automated
We saw him
fabulous Halloween things.
We saw him a couple weeks ago, and we were talking about, we're like, I can't believe that people already have their Halloween stuff up. He goes, put mine up this weekend.
Yep, absolutely.
He loves that. That's his favorite time of year.
Well, before you spiraled into the party so excitedly, before we transitioned from the Patreon memberships, I kind of wanted to mention one of the really nice perks of the $75 a month tier is you get to have personal conversations, phone calls with the two of us.
Yep.
I just did almost an hour-long visitation where a gentleman who's at that tier level had a lot of questions. He's very new to sugar dating. He had so many questions. He wanted to bounce ideas off of me. He needed to explain his reasoning for a need for discretion and how could he do that, but yet have a strong enough profile to where he didn't seem fake or scammy. And I feel like he left that conversation with a lot of information and a lot of ideas and a lot of feedback.
And guys, that's the bargain of the century. I went to a therapist. You know what they charge? Like $300 to $500 an hour.
Yeah.
Right? And if you get coaching from somebody in real estate or consulting from somebody on anything, it's going to be hundreds of dollars per hour. So I'm telling you what, our prices are very, very cheap for what you get.
Yeah. And it's kind of fun for me because I felt like I really kind of got to know this gentleman. He's out of the New York area. So if any of you sugar babies in the New York City area are looking for a connection, this guy's new. He seemed very intelligent. He seemed very generous and very genuine. So write into us. Maybe I can help you make a connection.
You mean he's not one of these old guys looking for a 21-year-old just to bang?
I don't know exactly what he's looking for. I'm not sure he knows exactly what he's looking for. He has a very unique situation. He's married, but his wife has a pretty significant medical diagnoses to where she's just not even present a lot of the time.
Isn't she in her 50s or so, or do you say?
I don't know her age. I know he's in his late 50s.
Yeah.
And he spends most of his time caring for her, but he's at a point where he's like, I'm not even 60 yet. I still have needs. I still need to make social and emotional connections, and I have to be discreet. And this seems like a really good route for me to do that.
Yeah.
And I agree with him. I think he's right on the money that this is going to be a good solution for him.
I would be pretty depressed at my age, right now it's 56, if I had no options. Like if I had a situation where I had no options to have any sexual relations or emotional, intelligent conversation with somebody, because I still am very vibrant, very alive. I still wake up with the morning wood. It's unbelievable. It just doesn't go away like I thought it would. I thought it would diminish as I got older. For me, at least, I'm finding it's not. And that's a tough spot to be in.
Yeah.
So
yeah, sounds like a really good opportunity for the right sugar baby.
Mm-hmm. Okay, there was some things I want to talk about today, and we'll just see where this goes, because I don't have anything too scripted, but I got a lot of stuff in my head as I was driving here. With the elections coming up, with the state of the country, it's tough for a lot of people. Everything has gone up. Rent. I was talking to somebody about what rents are these days. I was a real estate investor I started 26 years ago. Yeah, 26 years ago. Bought my first property. And my mortgage payment was $900. I was working at Jack in the Box. Okay. I think I was making $42,000 a year. And that was on the high end of what a manager was making at that time. If you were making 50 or 55, you were considered cream of the crop. So anyway, I'm making this, and of course, with taxes and everything, I'm taking home, what was I taking home? Like $1,200 every 2 weeks. So my mortgage was $900. I'm barely making it, right? And I had to get a couple roommates just to make my mortgage. So I had a couple roommates, and they paid me $300 each to rent a room. And then so I ended up paying $300, and then we split the utilities. So it was very affordable for me to buy my first home. Now, I've had some people come to me this week. This is what I want to talk about is they're all struggling so bad. And I said, well, what's your rent? Oh, it's gone up now to $2,200. This is a single mom.
Okay, so that same home where you were paying $900 a month, what would that go for right now?
Like $2,300, $2,400.
Wow.
Rent. Yeah, that's just rent. Now, I just sold that home this year. So I owned the home for over 20 years. I bought it for $93,000. I just sold it for $500,000. And what's the mortgage on $500,000? It's like $3,000 a month, right? Probably or more. 3,200, somewhere around there. 34, I don't know.
I have no idea.
Yeah, it's got to be up around there. I ended up selling it to a highway patrolman because it was really close to the highway and on the Tempe Mesa Scottsdale border for you guys local. It's in a good spot. Now, I did add an additional room to it. I turned the carport into a nice little master bedroom. Matter of fact, Miss Lily lived there for a while.
It's my old studio apartment.
Yeah, what would we call that? The Oasis?
The Empress Oasis.
Yes, yeah. So it had like a nice little feature that I added on. It didn't cost me that much to add it on, but that certainly added value to the home because I think what he did was he had a son or somebody like that who's renting that side from him. And then him and his family are living, his wife or whatever, are living in the main house. And so I think that's the way that they're making the mortgage.
Yeah, that's ideal if you have that kind of situation, or it
Yeah.
would make a really nice mother-in-law quarters.
But people are having to do that. We were in California a couple weekends ago for Labor Day weekend. Alejandra and I went, and parking is a nightmare. We're in San Diego, and cars are lined up on the street. They're lined up on the bridges, the overpass bridges that cross over the major freeways. There's literally parking on there. And I think it's because so many families are having to live in one home. There's just not enough available parking just to make it, because homes there, I mean, double, triple the price of what we're seeing.
Think
It's
about
unbelievable.
your other Airbnb where they always have
Yeah.
8 cars
Yeah.
in the cul-de-sac.
Right.
Of course, only about 3 of them were running.
Yeah.
You're listening to Secrets of a Sugar Daddy. Now back to the show with your host, Marcus.
So where I'm going with this is it is tough for people right now. And we're hoping that the economy will get better. We don't know what's going to happen because we've got a crazy election coming up. It's neck and neck. It could go either way. If one party wins, I think the country is going to have a revolt. And if the other party wins, it's going to be complete chaos. So no matter what side wins, I think it's going to be complete chaos.
Both ends of the stick
Both
are
ends.
shitty.
Yeah. So here we are. I've had 4 people come to me this week that are in such financial, and these are women, either single moms or just single ladies, single women, who are financially desperate and they do not know what to do and they don't know where to turn. They've asked me, some of them asked me for some help, some of them financially, some of them have asked me, is there anything I can do work-wise? Do you have any work? Do you have any friends that have, this and that? So what I'm going to go over today is a couple situations, and we'll see how long this takes. But
Well, while you're looking for that, this really actually left me speechless not that long ago. So Trucker and he has a granddaughter who just started college. She's 18 years old. And we were sitting down to dinner and we were having a conversation with her, and it turned a little bit to politics, which wasn't a good thing because she's super liberal and we're super conservative. But she did make the statement that I don't think I will ever be a homeowner my entire life, because she just feels like there's absolutely no way that she could afford to be a homeowner. And I found that really sad.
well, for a conventional mortgage, and if you follow Dave Ramsey, which I'm a big proponent of Dave Ramsey. I don't follow him 100%, but if I did, I would be better off. Well, I don't know. I've taken some risks that have worked out. I have taken on some good debt. There's good debt and bad debt. Obviously, bad debt is buying consumable items on your credit card, purses and shoes and clothes and cars and things like that. The debt I took on was investment debt, real estate and fix and flips and things like that. So it's worked out for me. Dave Ramsey is not a big proponent of that. He would rather you save the money and pay cash. I feel like I'm a little bit more responsible than the average adult, so I took the risk and it worked out. I'm not recommending that for everybody. If we have to lean one way or another, I say follow Dave Ramsey's plan to the T. And if you don't know who Dave Ramsey is, he's got like one of the number 1 shows in America, and it's all about finances and how to live your life debt-free and how to not be the slave to the government, because the government is not going to take care of you, folks. Sorry to break this to you.
Not going to happen.
Yeah, if you're depending on the government to take care of you, provide you jobs, provide you income, provide you money to go to the store and shop, no, don't go that route. It's a miserable life. Absolutely miserable. And you don't have to live that life. Nobody has to. And that's what we're going to go over today is ways to make money no matter who you are. Now, granted, there's fringes, but for the majority of the people, there are sources out there, especially with all these online home-based opportunities. You can literally make money from home. This is not like when you and I grew up, Lily. We had to get out there. There wasn't no home jobs. Hardly anybody was working from home.
Yeah, I can't think of any job
Yeah.
where you could work from home.
Yeah, very, very few jobs in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s where you worked from home. Now, you could probably work over 50, 60% of the jobs from home.
I guess if you were selling Avon or Mary Kay, but you still had to go to
You still
people's
had to get
houses
out.
and
Yeah,
have
you had
the
to
parties.
get out of your house.
The Tupperware. Remember the Tupperware?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I sold, I'm jumping ahead of myself a little bit, but at 12 years old, I walked door to door and sold greeting cards and stationery to little old ladies that were at home.
What?
Yeah, and they bought from me, even though I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I
What
didn't even know.
company was that?
I don't know. It was in one of those cartoon magazines, one of those comic books.
Oh.
And back in my day, in the 80s, late 70s, and when I was a kid, you get a comic book, and then they had this full page ad with all these really cool prizes on there, and all you had to do was sell so much of this, whatever they gave you to peddle, and then you redeem that, because they couldn't pay you cash. So you'd redeem those points, you'd earn points, and you redeem them for all kinds of cool stuff. I got a football, I got a train set, I got a rocket set, I got like stuff that was important to me as an 11-year-old kid, 12-year-old kid, right?
Yeah.
And it was very fulfilling. So they sent me this big book, and it had greeting cards, had Christmas cards, birthday cards, all the stuff. And back then, we didn't have online ordering.
No.
You had the Sears catalog. You had catalogs. Remember all the catalogs that came in your mail?
I do.
And you would look through the catalogs, and then you would order something through the catalog. Either you send in a check, because they didn't even have really credit cards back then.
No. Do you remember the S&H green stamps?
Yeah, absolutely.
People are going to be listening to this going, what the hell
Wow,
are those
like,
two
these people, I don't know what they're talking about.
rambling about?
So anyway, I order it. They sent me this thing, and then also they sent me these samples of stationery and this and that. So I frightened as hell, and I wouldn't even recommend a kid doing this in a big city. I lived in a small city. I wasn't worried about knocking on the door and getting kidnapped. People actually came to the door then. We didn't have Ring doorbell. We didn't have the Nest or Hello or whatever it is. You knock on the door, they open the door. Hi, may I help you? I'm like, yeah, hi, my name is Marcus, and I'm selling these. And you just open up the catalog, and they're like, oh. And they kind of knew that you didn't know what the hell you were doing, so they assisted you. They were like, oh, this little guy's hustling. Let me buy something.
That's adorable.
Yeah, so they would buy this stuff, and then I would fill out this form, however they want it monogrammed or whatever, the stationery, however they want to put it. I'd go home. My mom would help me if we'd mail it back to the company. Sure enough, they'd mail the stuff. We would deliver it to them, or they mailed it right to their house. I got prizes.
Nice.
That's my first job.
That was your first hustle.
Yeah. Well, kind of. I actually remember walking door to door selling Scout-O-Rama tickets when I was 7.
Okay, I don't know what that is, but did you ever have a paper route?
No, but my friends had a paper route.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they would tell me, my cousin had a paper route. And then I learned what he was making, and I went, screw that. I'm not riding around on my bike throwing papers.
What's Scout-O-Rama?
I was a Boy Scout.
Okay.
And we would have, or maybe I was a Cub Scout at that time.
Were you ever molested?
No, I was not. But,
I'm glad.
And I don't know if I admitted if I was, but it'd be like kind of embarrassing. So anyway, we had this, what was it? What would you call it? Like a festival or something where all these scouts would come together at the Coliseum, kind of like a state fair, but
Okay.
it was for scouting. And we called it Scout-O-Rama, and we did all kinds of stuff. And they had booths and things. And I would walk around door to door selling tickets to that for like $1 each or whatever they were going for back then. And people actually bought them. I'm looking at them going, I know you're not going to this. This is a pity buy. But I don't care. My, what do they call them, Scoutmaster instructed us that we needed to sell 50 or 100 or whatever these tickets. That was our duty. That was our job.
Yeah.
So
like
we
the
did
Girl
that.
Scout cookies.
Yeah, it's kind of like Girl Scout cookies, except this was for Boy Scouts. So anyway, I did that. Again, I was scared, so scared knocking on doors because it's the fear of the unknown. And then occasionally you get this grumpy old person like, get off my lawn, get out of here. I'm not interested in this. Quit knocking on my door. And you get that. That's part of life. And then you know what? Actually, I'm glad I went through that because that is a part of life. You can't be sheltered your entire life. So that was a good learning experience.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, back to I go off the rails a little bit. So anyway, I've been getting a lot of issues this week, and I just want to go over a couple of them. So this girl was on Seeking, And she messaged me first, and her account was brand new, 2 days old or something, like 3 days old. And I could tell she wasn't fake. I am pretty good at finding the fake profiles now. They're pretty obvious. And I've posted some examples of those on Patreon. So if you guys want to see some samples of fake profiles, because people all the time, they go, how do you know that's fake? Oh, come here. Use the force, Luke. I mean, this is not that hard. So she ends up messaging me offline. And first of all, she wanted to keep it online. She goes, well, can we just chat here? I don't feel comfortable messaging you from my number.
So on Seeking. She wanted to communicate strictly on Seeking.
So I said, hey, I understand. Why don't you get a Google Voice number? Because I have one. It will hide your identity and we can talk freely offline. And she's like, oh, well, how much is that? And I'm like, it's free. Absolutely free. And she goes, oh, I had no idea those existed. I'm like, yeah. So she got one and she messaged me. So now we're offline and the conversation is going pretty well. But here's the problem. She's in a desperate situation financially. And she admitted that to me. So we were going to meet. She said she's working 2 jobs right now. She's usually only available in the evenings or a late lunch. It just depends on what part of the week. And so we ended up setting up a time to meet. And
Did she say how she got in such dire financial straits?
No. So she said, what are you looking for? So I'm going to read you guys. Now, I copy and paste this because I typed it out to somebody not too long ago, and frankly, I thought it was pretty good. So I'm going to read exactly what I told her when she says, well, what are you looking for? Well, I'm looking for someone that I can enjoy a nice evening out with, great conversation over drinks or dinner, with a dose of intimacy if it goes that direction. It doesn't have to be immediate, but I enjoy a balanced relationship. I'm somewhat of a sapiosexual and love discussing life and business and whatever else comes up. I also love attending concerts and comedy shows and festivals, etc. In exchange, I offer a nice PPM, which could lead to a weekly allowance in the future if things progress, but basically a no-pressure fun evening together. So I like that because it says, yes, I am like any red-blooded male still interested in sex, but that's not the only thing that I'm looking for.
I like it.
Yeah. I like a balanced sugar baby relationship. I'm not looking just for, hey, come over, let's do the deed, and then you leave. Some guys want that.
Yes, that's true.
Some girls want that.
Also true.
That's not what I'm looking for, and that's not what most girls are looking for on Seeking. Now, most girls on Seeking don't want to feel used. They don't want to feel transactional. They don't want to feel like they're just getting played. They would like that also. So I think that appeals to most people.
That would put me at ease if I read that message.
Right. So feel free, you guys out there, to copy and paste that. Maybe I should put that on our Patreon too.
Do it.
Yeah.
But you know what? Only post that if you mean it.
Yeah, right.
Don't do it to just lure the girl in and then switch gears once you get her in your clutches.
Yeah, don't be a douchebag. So anyway, she responds, well, that sounds enjoyable to me. How often do you usually see your sugar babies? I'm a private person. I like to keep it that way. And I said, well, everyone has unique schedules and availability, so I'm fairly flexible. What's your availability? And that's when she told me she works 2 jobs. It just depends on the week. And then we decided to go ahead and, she asked, would you like to meet sometime this week? And I said, yeah, I'm wide open. What days work for you? She said Wednesday around 7. I go, great. We can chat over a drink or 2 somewhere close to both of us. And then we made a date for a bar that was close to my house. Okay? That was on Monday. On Tuesday, that was Monday night. We agreed to it, 9:54. Tuesday afternoon, she got cold feet. And she wrote me a nice little, and it was long. She didn't just ghost me. She didn't just say, hey, I'm not feeling it.
That's commendable.
She wrote me a nice long explanation. Says, hi, Marcus. I was doing some thinking, and I just do not think this is for me. You know what? Sugar dating is not for everybody. And I didn't know the reason why until we'll get to it in just a minute. She says, I have been struggling financially really, really bad and thought that this would be the solution for me, but I do not want to waste your time, nor do I have the heart to take advantage of anyone without a genuine connection. Understandable. Mm-hmm. I think that sugar dating is just not for me. as I am very traditional type of girl. I just felt extremely lost and hopeless because I am thousands of dollars behind in my bills and I cannot possibly work any more than I do. So I found myself trying sugar dating. I just wanted to express this to you and let you know, as much as I wish I could move forward, I'm not going to. Although you actually seem like a very good guy and a good mentor. I wish you success in your journey and hope you find a sugar baby that is perfect for you. Now, what do you do after you get that? What would be your next step?
Respond and say thank you for being candid and thank you for being honest and not just ghosting me.
Right. I said, hey, no problem. Thanks for letting me know. I have coached and helped many people. So now I'm sitting here thinking, I don't want to take advantage of this girl either. If she's in that mental state and that's the reason she's doing it, that's the last thing I want to do, is to take advantage of somebody like that, right? So I'm just saying, hey, I've coached and helped many people actually find real relationships in this lifestyle. But yeah, it's not for everyone. If you ever want to sit down for a drink and just chat, I'm always open to that also. Okay, so that sets her in mind like, hey, I'm not out just to take advantage of you sexually. I truly care that you're in this situation, and if you want to talk about it, I'm happy to talk about it. Even though I don't have time, I really don't have time, I just felt like I needed to with this one.
How old is this young lady?
She's 25.
She's 25. I'm just so curious how she got herself in this situation.
Yeah. So she says, well, I'll keep that in mind, and honestly, I might take you up on that someday. And then that was like Tuesday at 6:30, and then Tuesday at 8:30, a couple hours later, says, do you have any recommendations to manage finances? Methods to get out of all this debt? Methods to catch up on bills and fix my credit score? And I said, oh yeah, I am the side hustle king. And Lily would know that's true.
That is true. And also, if you get into that extreme of a debt situation, you can do some debt consolidation.
Yeah, we're going to get into that. So then she responds very promptly, well, I've been looking for side hustles to do for months now, and I cannot seem to find one. I'm about $21,000 in credit card and personal loans, and my car loan is at $11,000. So all in all, she's at $32,000.
God, can you imagine the interest she's paying?
Oh, yeah.
That's insane.
I said, well, are you working currently? Said, yes, but I am overworked and underpaid. Yeah, at that age, you usually are.
Yeah.
I can believe it. Especially considering my education level. So that she's telling me that she has a good, I think she graduated already. I said, okay, well, let's meet and discuss in person. I have a lot of good information for you that is too much to text. I think I'll be able to put you on the right path. And then she says, well, that sounds good. I'd really appreciate any opportunity to change my life. I've always been a hard worker and definitely pictured myself much more successful than I am now at 25 when I was younger. Oh, I did that at 45. When I was 45, I'm like, what the hell? I thought I'd be more successful than I am now.
Yeah.
It's all perspective, though. But the past year has been very hard for me with family deaths and situations with my family back home that have drained my savings and literally put me in negative multiple times. I am still recovering, and I feel really choked up. So I'd love to see what advice you have for me. And I said, I'd be happy to give you some financial mentorship. I've been exactly where you're at. So then we set a time up to meet for coffee. And here's the problem.
She ghosted you again.
No, she rescheduled. She
keeps rescheduling.
said, hey, sorry, busy day. Can I reschedule for later this week? And I'm like, honestly, I gave you a 2-hour window. That's literally the only time I have this week. So I told her, yeah, I have some time next week. Maybe I can get her on this. I just don't have a lot of time. But the important thing is I've already got figured out some things. I can help her get out of debt without giving her money. I've got a lot of great ideas, so I'm going to throw some of those at you guys today. But she didn't show up.
Yep. She needs one of those bracelets.
I wear a bracelet every day. Alejandra gave it to me. I think a trainer of hers gave it to her. But it says, show up.
That's half the battle.
I've posted this bracelet on Patreon. Matter of fact, I know Blue Eyed Princess is coming to the party again, and she's grabbing bracelets, but I'd almost have her inscribe them with that also.
Yeah, she could.
If she hasn't already.
She could probably add it.
Yeah. Or a separate bracelet.
She hasn't sent me the proof yet, so they're not ordered.
Okay. We should have her throw those on there because, I mean, that is so much of success is just showing up, whether it's the gym, whether it's to class, whether it's to your job. Some people just don't even show up for their job, and then they wonder what the problem is.
Yeah.
Like some of my workers or have any money.
Let me give you a little example of that. So Trucker has an adult son who lives in another city, and he has a really good job in the mining industry. Mm-hmm. But he also has self-diagnosed himself with a drinking problem. Now, he doesn't drink at work, but apparently he drinks a fifth of Jack Daniels every night.
Wow.
And so he keeps letting his work know, hey, I'm going to go to rehab, and then puts himself in rehab for like 6 weeks. So I think 3 times he has missed 6 weeks of work, and his employers let him because I think legally, if it's a medical type addiction situation, I don't think you can immediately go to, well, you're laid off or you're fired. But the 4th time he said, hey, I'm back on the sauce. I need to go to rehab for my drinking problem again. They let him go.
Yeah.
And it was a good job with really good benefits. But this grown man can't get a handle on his alcoholism, and his employer is having to foot the bill. And we're probably talking tens of thousands of dollars that they've spent on insurance sending him to rehab. Crazy.
My brother was in the same situation. My mom sent him to rehab so many times, and he would get clean and sober, and he'd just fall right back into it. Now, it took the death of my mom and him getting thrown in jail that night that she died for a DUI for him to finally wake up and stop drinking. I don't know what it's going to take for him,
He lost his wife over it.
Did he really?
Yeah.
I don't know what it's going to take, but finally, and I knew this was going to be a make or break situation for my brother. I hate to say this. My mom she was battling breast cancer, and she just got to a point where there was no return. And as she's on the deathbed, I'm almost ready for her to go for my brother's sake, because I knew my mom, there's just no hope, and she was going to go. It was a very, very sad time in our life, but I needed her to go away, even though she was my best friend in my life, to save my brother. And it did.
Yeah.
It did. I am so proud of him. He's 2 years younger than me. At age 52, he finally grew up because he did not have her to bail him out over and over and over. And Trucker's, what is his cousin?
It's his son.
Oh, his son. The job just kept bailing him out.
Yeah.
They kept just giving him his job,
and his wife,
keeping his job.
She stood by him through the first 3 times.
Yeah. So my brother quit drinking. He ended up getting into construction. He ended up starting his own company. And then he actually just got hired by another bigger company who's seeing his work and paying him even more than he was making on his own, which is very rare because usually you do make more working for yourself if you're self-motivated. But he's very happy, very productive citizen now, productive human being. He's taking better care of his daughter than he ever has. He has how old is he now? 8, 9, 11-year-old? I don't know. I lose track. I got a bunch of nieces and nephews walking around. But it's an amazing, amazing turnaround. But it took something very tragic in life to do it.
And it could have gone the other way.
It could have. And
he could be a drug addict right now.
Yeah, I didn't know. And he battled that. And I didn't know if that was the direction he's going. But he needed to go one way or the other.
I'm so glad it went
I am
in a positive direction.
It took his entire support system away for him to say, I got to do this on myself. I can't depend on other people.
You're listening to Secrets of a Sugar Daddy. Now back to the show with your host, Marcus.
Which brings me back to all these people that have contacted me. One of them was an ex-fiance from the 90s, long before I was married. I had a fiance back in the 90s that this is the reason I even moved to Arizona, is we were dating. We actually got engaged, and she was up at BYU. And anyway, we broke up. I was living in College Station at the time, Texas. And her dad, who lives in Texas, says, you know, if I was a single guy, I'd move to Arizona. You got a lot of great women out there in Tempe, and the economy's really good. I think it's a good opportunity. And I literally drove out that day. I took action that day, came out, found a job. Let's say I drove out on a Thursday night. I actually rolled into Phoenix Friday morning. It was a long-ass drive from College Station, which is East Texas. And then I had a job by that afternoon. And then I went home, sold everything I had, and came out to Phoenix the next week to start my job with $600 in my pocket. That's all I had in the 1997. So I'm just telling you, I didn't have a silver spoon in my mouth. And, you know, I have a net worth portfolio that's multi-millions, but that's what I want to talk about today, if we ever get to it. I know I keep expanding on all this stuff, but there's ways to start from nothing to get to a comfortable status. But it takes showing up and it takes action.
What's the best, fastest way once you decide that you're going to help yourself?
Well, see, here's what happened for me. First of all, the reason I got a job so quickly is because I showed up well-dressed for the interview and well-spoken. So I got instant credibility there. And then they could tell through my resume that I was dependable. And then I made sure they knew I was trustworthy and honest. These are just some simple things. They cost nothing to be a hard worker, to be honest, trustworthy, dependable, punctual. That costs you nothing. So that will get you places to begin with. Second of all, I still couldn't really make it at the salary they offered me, even though it was more than I'd ever made in Texas. With the cost of housing, I told you I bought my first house. I couldn't even really afford the $900 mortgage. So I rented the rooms. I found side hustles on how to make ends meet. And here's one side hustle that I found or that I implemented when I moved to Phoenix. I was working 5 days a week at Jack in the Box. And I've talked about this.
Gotta love it.
On an early episode in our series. Anyway, I was working at Jack in the Box. Literally, sometimes I'm running the store almost by myself because I didn't have dependable workers, and by God, I was going to make sure customers were serviced and they got their orders.
Did you ever spit in anybody's burger?
No. Why would I do that?
I don't know. Have you seen that movie, Waiting?
No, but...
It's all about waiters and waitresses, and when people piss them off, they do horrible things.
Don't piss them off. No, I can imagine. Yeah.
Surely you didn't work at Jack in the Box and nobody ever pissed you off.
Oh, no. Not saying that didn't happen. But I never did anything like that as a retribution.
Oh, let me tell you, last night, Trucker and I know this is off track, but
all right.
Trucker and I were out to eat at this little bar we like to go to. And some guy came in huffing and puffing, all pissed off. I just want to order a pizza. The bartender waiter there is super nice, always smiling, great guy. I think his name is Andy.
Was this at Trevor's?
No, it wasn't at Trevor's. It was at, oh gosh, I can't think what it's called. It's part of the Rokery.
Okay.
They own like 3 or 4 different restaurants. So this is the little bar next to it. We call it the Cave because it's really dark in there. Anyway, this guy comes in pissed off. He's like, I tried calling this number. I tried calling that number because he knows all the restaurants are related. All I wanted to do was order a pizza. This number was disconnected. This number, nobody answered. And he was just so mad. And the guy goes, well, let me take care of you. I'll order you a pizza to go. It'll be fine. The guy's like such a jackass. He's so mad. They have cute little like votive candles sitting on the bar next to each place setting. He takes the melted candle wax, dumps it on the bar, and then sets the candle back in the melty wax just to be a dick. And I didn't see that happen, but Trucker saw it and he was like, what the hell is that guy doing? What is his problem? Like, was the smoke from the candle bothering him? And later after the guy left, the bartender was like, guess that guy was so mad he knocked over the candle. Trucker's like, no. He picked that candle up and purposely poured it out on the bar to be a dick. Now, that's the guy you put a booger on his pizza.
Well, You don't know what they're going. I know, I get it. You don't know what they're going through. Sometimes you just got to grin and bear it. It's unbelievable.
You're listening to Secrets of a Sugar Daddy. Now back to the show with your host, Marcus.
Back to my story where I still could not make financial ends meet. I said, I got to do a side hustle. And this is, I hate to say this is kind of in the beginnings of the internet. We didn't really have a lot of options back then. So as my side hustle, and you can still do this side hustle today, I bought Coke machines and vending machines. Now, how could I afford those? Well, I did have some room on a credit card, or I could have borrowed some money. But the nice thing is, I actually bought an existing route from somebody, and it wasn't that expensive. So I bought this route, financed it, and then worked it only once a week on my days off. I'd go to these businesses and I'd restock Cokes and things like that. I'd go to Costco or at that time Sam's Club, either one, and I would buy them in bulk and then go restock. And I made, now this is back in the 90s, I made an extra $500 to $800 a month. Now that's what I was making in a 2-week check sometimes.
Yeah.
So for me, working one extra day a week, now I was making just enough to pay some extra bills. Now, granted, costs were less than, I think my Cokes were only 50 cents at that time. Now, what are they, $2?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so it's all relative, but I'm giving you numbers from like in the 90s. So that's what I did as a side hustle. Now, here's the great thing. It wasn't that fun. It took some time out of my day. It took a couple hours out of my day, 2 or 3 hours on a Friday morning or whenever I did it. The great thing about that, I sold that route for a little bit more than what I paid for it. So what did that job cost me? Nothing.
Time.
Yeah, nothing.
That's it.
Just time. So I put in the time and I had all that extra income. And the money that I spent to purchase those machines, I got right back, plus a little bit extra.
So you didn't actually own the machines, you just owned the route?
No, I owned them.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I bought the machines.
What did that cost you?
You know what the Coke machine cost?
No.
Back in 1997?
I have no idea.
$400 to $500.
And how many did you have?
I had 10 or 12.
Wow.
Yeah, something like that.
Did you take out a loan?
Yeah, on my credit card.
Okay.
So I only had $600 when I rolled into town of cash, but I had a credit card. I think that I had $5,000 credit limit. And I think maybe even my mom might have helped me a little bit too. And the reason she did is because she knew I would work it. She wasn't worried about me fluffing off and not doing it. I had proved over time to her that I was very dependable, so she had no problem loaning me money. That's the thing. If you prove to people that you're dependable and honest, there is no shortage of money. You think, well, where am I going to get the money? I'm telling you, there's people that I have people now throwing money at me. And it's the guys from my country club. I play golf with these guys. We've done some deals together, real estate. Now, I'm transitioning 20 something years into the future. I do much bigger deals now than Coke machines. But 20 years into the future, I'm buying properties for $300,000, $400,000, $500,000. Buying from foreclosures, buying them from wholesalers or whatever. These guys have it. They're retired businessmen. They've been successful or whatever, right? They loan me the money. I fix the property up, sell it. I give them back their money, and they're earning interest the whole time. And then they're like, hey, let's do it again. Buy another property. Okay, well, I'm looking for one, and I'll buy another property, and then we'll do the same deal. And then when I give them their money back, they're mad at me. And they're like, hey, I really enjoyed those interest checks I was getting from you. I got money in the bank that's not doing anything. Let's get it working again. So they're literally calling me going, hey, I got $500,000. Let's go. Let's find something to invest in. Now, that didn't happen in the beginning. It took time to develop that. But that's what the process of being honest, dependable, and trustworthy and doing what you say you're going to do, that's the path that it will lead you down.
Yeah.
Okay. So vending machines was my first side hustle besides selling stationery and greeting cards to little old ladies when I was 12. But that was a really, really good side hustle. Now, is that applicable 25 years later, now that we have the internet, now that we have all these home-based opportunities, oh my God, what you can do now as a side hustle is unbelievable. For example, just go to YouTube. Go YouTube and type in side hustles.
You could sell your used panties.
Oh, that is one side hustle. It absolutely is. You can, okay.
You can sell pictures of
Now,
your feet.
I was going to say, people have problems with OnlyFans. And I saw, this is sickening, but there's a girl that I follow on Instagram, and you guys have all seen her, I'm sure, if you have Instagram or TikTok. She showed her OnlyFans earnings from 2023, January 2023. It was a zero. September of 2024, her cumulative earnings, and this is after fees, was $16 million.
In a year and a half.
A little over a year and a half.
Wow.
Now, I've seen some of her OnlyFans stuff because it's leaked on Reddit and other places. Now, it's porn.
Oh.
She basically does porn. But that is a side hustle that turned into a full-time income. I know that Kimmy's old roommate is now supposedly making $1 million a month.
That is insane.
And now, she does TikToks and she does Instagram stuff every single day. Every day.
She's showing up and showing it off.
And those are fairly innocent. Those are nothing, there's nothing porn about them or...
Yeah, I don't think you're allowed to, are you?
No, but she has a link to her OnlyFans site, which is managed by a management company, so she doesn't even manage it. She just produces the videos. Mm-hmm. And then they're the ones that actually talk to the thirsty dog men and all this stuff and answer the DMs like it's her. And then, I don't know, she has like 200,000 subscribers at $10, $15 a month. I don't know what it is. You add that up. There's a couple million already. OnlyFans takes a cut. The management team takes a cut. So I think once it's all done, she has $1 million coming in every month. And then they sell videos on top of that for $20 or $30 extra videos. And guys are buying them. So I don't know if you want to go that extreme. I'm just saying it's a side job that turns into a full-time job. It's all what your morals and values, where you're at there. Kimmy was making really, really good money, 6 figures a month, and she quit it because she did not feel comfortable doing it. It wasn't her. She didn't like what her parents thought about it. She didn't like what her friends thought about her doing that. And now she does a very traditional investment style job. Mm-hmm. So it all depends on what your tolerance is there. Some other side hustles, I couldn't even scratch the surface because there's millions and millions of side hustles. But here's where I would suggest that you start. YouTube. Type in side hustles. I haven't done it yet, but I can just guarantee you. Type in side hustles to YouTube, and they will pull up the video after video after video, and they'll be titled, The 20 Side Hustles You Can Start Today from Home. 50 side hustles you can do from your bedroom. Blah, blah, blah. Take any of those, one idea, and you can make money. So my ex-fiance came to me. I haven't seen her in 6 years. She quit talking to me 6 years ago.
Why?
Because I was divorced. She was divorced. She wanted to start dating again.
Rekindle the flame.
She wanted to rekindle the flame. And I wasn't ready to rekindle the flame. And matter of fact, once I got to know her a little better, I'm like, yeah, I don't think this would have lasted even if we got married.
No.
Yeah, our just personalities were too different, especially at this point. I had grown. She hadn't grown. I had grown as a person. I had grown to be a better version of myself. She was still the same, is what I felt like. So anyway, she got mad at me, blocked me 6 years ago. Voila. They always come back, Lily.
I know they do.
I get this message. Hey, how are you? It's been a while. Can we meet? Can we talk? So anyway, she lost her job after a month and a half. Problem is she has a really hard time keeping a job. She's in her 50s now. She does paralegal. She does admin assistant. She knows some stuff, but I don't know for some reason. And she has some health problems too. So I'm sure she has to take some time off work. And it's a little frustrating for employers because if you hire somebody, you need them there to work. So anyway, you know what I had her do?
Tell me.
Get her notary.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Got her notary. And now she can do side jobs.
Yeah, she could do mobile notary.
Mobile notary,
She could
$75, $100 a pop.
go to work somewhere.
And you know what that cost her? Nothing except the notary. What does the notary cost? A couple $100?
Yeah, it cost a couple of $100
To get your notary.
Yeah.
You can make that back in 1 or 2 signings.
And it's an easy job.
It's easy. It's
So
no
easy.
brainer. You're a notary. I paid for you to become a notary. And it's been very helpful for me because I do a lot of legal documents with my real estate and my business. I'm needing things notarized all the time. That's really nice. Hey, Lily, bring over your pink stamp. Sign this form.
It's so cute.
Yeah, you love it.
I do love it.
So there is a side hustle for you, notary. It's brainless.
It makes me feel important.
I hate to say it's brainless. It's very easy. All you're doing
It is easy.
is acknowledging that that person who is signing the document is who they say they are.
Ask them for their ID.
And then you stamp, yes, this person presented themselves to me. They signed it in front of me like a will or something like that. A power of attorney. It could be anything. A car title lien, a deed of trust. It could be any kind of document that needs verification that that person is who they say they were.
Well, and there's just times when people need an after hours notary and they'll pay more for it,
yeah.
especially if you'll come to them.
I've had situations where, let's say we were selling a car. Now, it's changed a little bit in Arizona. It's become easier. But in the older days, I showed up at somebody's house at 7 o'clock at night. I liked their car. We made a deal. Well, how do I get this notarized? How do I get this title notarized? Who was available at 7 o'clock at night? Well, a mobile notary is. Mm-hmm. And for $100 or $150 or whatever dollars, they could come notarize that for you. It takes them what? Less than 10 minutes?
Oh, yeah.
5 minutes?
5.
Now, there is some travel time. Don't get me wrong. There's some other things involved. But there is a side hustle right there that you could do. Some other side hustles are anything to do with social media marketing. Now, here's a need that I have. And matter of fact, we have somebody that was a Patreon member. And matter of fact, she was an ultimate VIP member at one time. Well, she just ran into some financial problems, had her car towed or repossessed. And she's like, hey, I'm not asking for a handout, but I need some money fast. And I'll do what I'll work. You know what I told her? I said, you know what? I don't want to just give you money, right? And I don't really just have it to give to everybody. I would run out of money at my level very quickly. But I have needs that I'm willing to pay for, and they're not sexual. I have some social media marketing that I need. Now, we had Katie, who was on the show a couple of times, doing some stuff. She actually wrote a book, and she's moved on to some really cool things. But anyway, I need somebody to replicate some of the things that she was doing for us last year. I thought it was really cool. She'd made some really cool, quick video clips. And as I talked to Brian Howie, the owner of our studio, he's recommending that we take our podcast off of YouTube. There's no accountability for the listens on that. And so when you get advertisers, they don't know who's listening or what the demographic is or anything. So he's saying just do those clips, do teaser clips, and then that sends them to the podcast. Which,
Put those on YouTube?
Yeah, put the teaser clips on YouTube.
Yeah, Katie was
and
so
Instagram.
talented at doing those. They were really cool.
They were really cool.
I was impressed.
I was too. And so I need somebody to do those, and I'm willing to pay somebody to do that. How do you learn how to do that if you have no experience?
YouTube.
YouTube. Good answer. I'm telling you, if you can watch a video, an instructional video on how to make social media clips for businesses, bam.
That's how I learned to get the descaling light off my Nespresso coffee maker.
Yep.
YouTube that shit.
YouTube. How-to videos on YouTube are everywhere. They have thousands and thousands of views. I'm telling you, you can utilize a how-to video on to learn something, or you can make your own how-to video and start earning money off YouTube. Lots of people have done that. So I know I've just scratched the surface, but when all hope, it just seems like, how am I going to make this kind of money? It doesn't come to you free. Nobody's just going to give it to you. The government's not going to bail you out. But there are ways. And if you want to talk to me about those ways, I'll be happy to talk to you. I'm a side hustle king. I love side hustles. One day I wish the side hustle, like doing this podcast would actually pay off big time. And it might, but side hustles can be a lot of fun and they can actually grow into full-time income. And now you are in charge of your life. Somebody is not going to lay you off. Somebody is not going to say, Mr. So-and-so or Miss So-and-so, you no longer have a job here. And now you're like, oh shit, what am I going to do? Now you're in control of yourself. I love that. So my advice, if you really, really need to earn some money and you do not want to go the sugar dating route, which I understand it's not for everybody. It's a great way. Alejandra's paid off all of her credit cards and she's now accumulating money in the bank. And she's asking me, hey, I finally got some money in the bank. Where should we invest it? That's a cool feeling to have.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So if you just want to go a traditional side hustle route, I would recommend just type it into YouTube or type it into Google. You will find so many great sources. Pick something that you enjoy. Another option, go to Fiverr. Fiverr, I think it is. Fiverr is where I hire a lot of people to do freelance things. And if you know how to do anything, you can create an account of Fiverr and people will hire you to do all kinds of things. Or you can go to Fiverr and get ideas. Just go there and see what other people are doing. One of my favorite sayings of all time. If you want to be successful, do what other successful people are doing. It's a very easy roadmap.
It's true.
Okay. I'm done.
And he just climbed down off his soapbox.
Oh, I got more, but we ran out of time. I looked at my watch. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
That was quick.
Yeah, that was quick.
I was thinking about a lot of this stuff on the way, and I didn't even touch on half of what I was thinking about. So we'll continue this later. Our party is coming up. Shakira Palooza is coming up. Oh my God. You know what? You know who just announced their tour next year?
I do not.
People are asking me like, hey, I can't make this party. When is your next one? I'd love to possibly come to your next one. I said, well, I haven't secured the one or two that we're going to have in 2025. I just got sent today the tour list for Dua Lipa in 2025. She's not coming to Phoenix yet. She's got like 2 shows in New York, 2 shows in Dallas, 2 shows in Chicago, 2 shows in LA, 2 shows in San Francisco.
I'm going to see her in 2 weeks.
I know. I'm jealous.
The iHeartRadio.
I'm jealous. Very, very jealous. Make sure you take video of her set.
I will.
I want to see it. But anyway, I heard rumors she's going to add additional cities, and I cannot imagine why she wouldn't come to the 5th largest city in America. Because I've seen her air in a little bitty club of 500 people back when she started. She cut her teeth here.
Does she know you still live here?
You know, I'm going to write her and tell her.
You should.
I'm going to DM her.
Yeah.
So anyway, if Dua Lipa decides to stop in Phoenix next year, I can almost guarantee you, unless it's like on a Tuesday night or something, that will be a Sugar Palooza. But anyway.
Okay.
But anyway, speaking of Sugar Palooza, we got this one coming up. Get your application in on our website, secretsofasugardaddy.com. We have room for you now. In a week or 2, we may not. Matter of fact, by the time this comes out, we are getting really close to the deadline.
That's true.
So get your application in ASAP. Join us on Patreon. I have a link to it at the bottom of this episode and on our website. And I think that's it.
I'm exhausted, sir.
I could go for another hour.
I'm not even sure I said 25 words.
All right. Well, we'll let Lily talk more next time. And until then, talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us. If you'd like to connect or even be on the show, we'd love to hear from you at secretsofasugardaddy.com.